I shoot a lot of film. To me, it's the law of averages. If you shoot a lot, eventually, some of your photography might not suck. Up until recently, I was sending almost all the film I shot to the dark room in California. And let me tell you, that adds up. 0 to 100 real quick. The real ones, no, that's a lazy reuse of a good meme from an old video, but this intro's going great. With the cost of film ever increasing, I decided that my New Year's resolution for 2021 was to cut the darkroom out of the equation and develop all my stuff at home. Enter the Cinestill Color Simplified kit, the almost idiot-proof color negative home development kit. I'll explain more on that later. But for now, if you shoot film and you only use labs, this message is for you. If you don't shoot film and you're still here to hang out with me and watch the video, shit, I love you. Let's do some quick math here. I know math is putrid, but it'll all be over soon. I'm gonna be generous here and say that with shipping and all that, the Cinestill kit is $35. And according to them, this kit is good to develop 24 rolls of film. Over on the Darkroom's website, one roll of color 35mm film with enhanced scans and no prints is $15. So if you were to do that exact package for 24 rolls of film, it would be, calculator, holy shit, $360. And keep in mind, that doesn't include shipping and tax. Even if you're starting from scratch, you have no darkroom supplies, no containers, no Patterson tank, nothing, you'd still be coming out on top. The Cinestill kit will pay for itself in a couple of rolls of film. If my Breaking Bad inspired intro didn't get your attention, hopefully the money talk did. And hey, for the people who already clicked off, good, we got rid of the people who don't like Breaking Bad, that's a good thing. Anyway, you guys know what this video is, let's talk about home developing. But just to be clear, this is more of a why-to rather than a how-to. There's a lot of really good tutorials, I will link them below. SRAD has one, Film is More Fun, M Photography, I'm probably forgetting some, I will link them all in the description below. If you're not interested in the context, I have chapter markers here, you can skip around in the video, but don't do that because that hurts my watch time. And just a quick disclaimer here before we jump into things, I am not saying that I'm a pro at this, I'm still relatively new, but I found a system that works really great for me, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay, my precious little eggies, I hope you enjoy. But first, here's a quick little gallery of some of the photos I've developed with this setup. Context here, I've been developing black and white film myself since I was in high school, so I've been doing it for a while now. I was in high school when Paramore released Riot, so I'm old! I usually get pretty consistent results with black and white at home, and frankly, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the quiet time, I enjoy being in the dark, it's almost therapeutic for me. But I never messed with developing color. The general consensus I heard online is that C41 is a little bit more complicated, the temperature matters more, there's more chemicals, blicks, but the Cinestill Color Simplified kit stood out to me because it's one package that had all the powders or the liquids depending on which one you got, $27.99 for the powder or liquid kit. And that's if you order through Cinestill, though it is more expensive elsewhere for some reason. The 1000 milliliter package is good for 24 rolls of film according to Cinestill, but you can stretch it and get more than 24 if you're a badass, and you're watching this channel, so clearly you are. Like I said earlier, the obvious benefit to developing film at home is the money. It's so much cheaper to do it yourself long term if you're sending out film in a high volume. If you're only sending it out like once or twice a year, maybe this doesn't make the most sense for you. You also don't have to worry about your precious negatives going through the mail. You don't have to worry about the existential dread and the wear on your F5 key refreshing the USPS tracking website for 3 days wondering if your film made it safely or if it's plummeting into the ocean only to be rediscovered by some elderly woman 84 years later to tell your story or whatever. But it goes way deeper than just logistics and money and your F5 key. Perhaps most importantly, you're in charge of digitizing your film, meaning you can control how much or how little it's edited. You're not just trusting some rando to do it for you. No offense to the darkroom. I'm not trying to throw shade here or anything because sometimes the scans I get from the darkroom are absolute bread and other times they're egg.
Bread is an emoji we use in the Discord to signify that something is good. Egg is a word Lou uses often. and its meaning changes contextually. In this context, egg is bad.
You can choose to keep the film borders if you want. You want
Trust.
You got it. You want to make your Portra 400 shots black and white and then upload it to Instagram and watch the film photography snobs vibrate over it? You can do it. That's actually really funny. I should do that. Gotta love these Portra 400 tones. But the bottom line, you have the most control over the entire process. Before, I was controlling how and where and when I shot my film, but never the post-production. Now, I control everything. And I have to say, it's really fulfilling. I really enjoy the process of shooting film, and now I feel this much more involved. Okay, now we've talked about money and context, so here's a rundown of what I have going on. I picked up one of the Cinestill starter kits a while ago when it was on sale. I think it was Black Friday. It came with the Color Simplified kit, 2 of these accordion jug things, 2 measuring cups, a Patterson tank, and this handsome lad, the temperature control unit. The temperature control unit was the thing that stood out to me the most. My old basement apartment got so cold in the winter it was damn near impossible to regulate the temperature. The temperature control unit is basically a film sous vide cooker, and I gotta say, in my previous version of this voiceover, I was calling it sous vide, not sous vide, so I had to re-record that. For those of you who are uncultured like me apparently, sous vide is a thing for cooking. You put food in a bag and you heat the water. Cooking channel when, right? Shockingly though, in this scenario, you aren't using it to cook. The sous vide is heating up your water and maintaining the temperature for your glorious tones. If you're confident in maintaining the temperature of your developing process on your own, then you don't need the temperature control unit. But if you're unsure, honestly, just get one. But do I recommend this whole kit from Cinestill?
Nope.
Because I found out after I bought it, you can just get a regular sous vide thing. Didn't even occur to me. Big brain over here. One thing to note though is that the powdered kit does not come with stabilizer, which is weird. Why? I ended up doing like 20 rolls without stabilizer, and based on what Cinestill's documentation said, most modern films have a stabilizing agent that is released during the development process. I haven't had an issue so far, but I did order some photo flow for the future. The Cinestill branded stabilizer has been sold out for many eons now. Maybe it'll never return. For those of you who may not know, stabilizer is a chemical that's added at the end of the process for archival purposes. It helps the film last longer and doesn't curl and all that fun stuff. And it's especially important for older expired films, which I do mess around with from time to time. It's kinda lame that the kit doesn't come with it, but their branded stabilizer is $4 and photo flow's pretty cheap too, so not the end of the world, but something to keep in mind. Another odd thing too is the liquid version of the kit does come with stabilizer, it's just the powdered one that doesn't. So, To go with the kit, I went to Home Depot and I picked up this plastic container to put it all in. This thing is less than $10, it works for the developing. You can fill it with water, you can put all the tanks and the temperature control in there, and the best part is that when you're not using it, just throw all the crap in there and put it in your closet, and there goes your darkroom. Super portable. Now that we've talked about all that, I'm going to do a quick rundown of what it's like when I develop film. Again, there are more thorough videos out there linked in the description below. They're my friends, they're awesome, so go check those out. But I just want to give you a quick idea of what it all looks like. The good news is the kit comes with really detailed instructions, so if you know how to read every step of the way, you're gonna be good. The first thing you gotta do is mix the chemicals. All you gotta do is heat the water, mix in the powder, go to Tuco's hideout, blow them up with a crystal meth thing, you know, the usual. I store mine in the accordion style jugs that came with the set, and apparently if you keep the chemistry in clear containers, light can actually shorten their lifespan, so keep that in mind. They say the kit is good for 24 rolls of film. I managed to get around 30 by extending my development time, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Once you're ready to go, you can line up your chemicals in the bin, fill it with water, and plop in the temperature control unit. I aim to keep the water between these two lines here on the temperature control unit. If the water goes below the bottom mark or above the top, it'll stop working. And do keep in mind that you'll be taking the Patterson tank and the chemistry in and out of the water at different points during the process, so you want to make sure that you have enough water handy in the bin. The temperature control unit is incredibly easy to use. It has 3 buttons. You have the on-off switch, you have this Cinestill button here to set your modes, and this rolly boy here to set the temperature. Honestly, after setting mine to 102 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever that is in Celsius, sorry rest of the world, I haven't really felt the need to touch any button other than on. You can also hold both the Cinestill and the power button to change from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but I mean, come on, Fahrenheit. Much better. Now normally at this point I'm just waiting for the water to heat up, so I run into the bathroom, close the door, take a large dump, and then throw my film into the Patterson tank. I don't have a dark bag, maybe I'll get one, but I honestly don't have a problem with just sitting in the dark for a few. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a nice little quiet time for me. Once I'm good to go, everything's all heated up, I do an initial rinse where I just fill the tank with water and plop it in the tub. Then I dump that and I load in the developer for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Agitate constantly for the first 10 seconds, then 4 turns every 30 seconds after that. After you're done with that, pour the developer back into the accordion thing and dump in the Blix. The Blix stays in for 8 minutes, same agitation. First 10 seconds is constant and then 4 turns every 30 seconds. Finally a wash and hang to dry.
Yes, science!
SRAD, Aroma Tissue, and Ferret Flip all recommended using binder clips to me to hang your film to dry. So here's what I did. I had some extra shower curtain hanger things from my old apartment. I put the binder clip through the shower curtain clip thing and then I hang the film from there. I pop a second binder clip on the bottom just to weigh it down a little bit. Since I started doing that, my film has been drying really nicely, even without photo flow. I do have some now though, which obviously is better, but it works if you don't have it. If you're wondering how many rolls of film you can process at once, I've only tried 2 rolls of 35 at once. On freestylephoto.biz, I think, because they're too cool for a .com, they say up to 10 rolls at once. And I actually slid into Cinestill's DMs on Instagram, so you know things are getting pretty serious there. They said per processing batch you can process as many rolls as your tank can hold. So again, I only tried 2, but straight from the horse's mouth, right? A few quick notes that I would be remiss if I failed to mention. First off is ventilation. Try and do this in a well-ventilated area. You don't want to be deep inhaling Blix. Or maybe you do if you're trying to get off this rock in a hasty manner. Wearing gloves probably couldn't hurt either, though I gotta tell you, I don't. And last but not least, as the developer gets older, much like our corporeal forms, it gets weaker. So you want to add a little bit of developing time after you've done about 10 rolls. That's at least the consensus I've heard online and from the lovely aforementioned darkroom friends of mine. So I've been adding 5 seconds to the development time since my 10th roll. So roll 11 was 335, roll 12 was 340, 13 was 345, and so on. Finally, once they're dry, it's time for my least favorite part of the process, the scanning. That's a whole other topic, but for the record, I use the Epson V550 with the Epson Scan software. I am in the process of experimenting with Silverfast, but I haven't used it enough to feel comfortable talking about it. And I use Negative Lab Pro to convert my negatives into the photos you see in this video. Man, I've really been singing the praises of home developing in this video. But it wouldn't be a Sweet Lou photography video if I didn't talk about some of the negatives associated with doing this yourself. The first and obvious issue with doing this yourself is you open yourself up to the possibility of fucking things up. Funny story, just last night I was making more B-roll for this video and I had a nice collab with the old camera guy. We were gonna do a double vision and I totally ruined that roll of film. I am so sad. But the reality is, we're humans, we make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and of course I have no problem when it's a stupid roll of gas stations, but when it's a roll that actually matters for a collab video, that's the one I mess up on. Some people might prefer leaving it up to the professionals, and that is totally okay. And speaking of professionals, another negative associated with this is that if everybody starts doing this, you might start to see some film labs close. And that is definitely not something I want. This is not a tirade video of me saying, hey, let's take down big film labs. I have a ton of respect for film labs. I'm glad they still exist and I don't want them to go anywhere. Moving on, another thing you do need to buy is a scanner or a DSLR to digitize your photos. That is another expense and it's another skill to learn. And scanners can be difficult to keep clean. I jokingly call my Epson V550 Our Lady of Perpetual Dust because no matter what, it's always fucking dusty in there. I don't understand why. Another thing that could be considered negative is the footprint it comes with. You have all this new gear now that needs a home. For me, I just throw it in the closet. But if storage is an issue for you, that is something else to consider. This is a bunch of stuff that you're gonna need to buy and put somewhere. And last but certainly not least, if you start using these chemicals, you have a responsibility to dispose of them properly. These should not be going right down your sink, which becomes a whole other task. When I was living in New York, the dumps had specific days where you can go there and bring them like paint and chemicals and stuff like that. I'm sure Connecticut does the same thing, but I just don't have enough waste yet to really have looked into it. But it is something to keep in mind. You don't want to throw this into the local water supply and have people start growing extra limbs and stuff. I don't really know what it would do, but let's not find out together, shall we? But if you recognize those negatives and you're cool with them, this is a beautiful part of the process that I really encourage anybody who shoots with film to at least try. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about this forever, and sorry this video took forever to make. I don't really know why, but I had to re-record it a bunch of times. I just wasn't quite feeling it. I don't know, I just had trouble with this video. I hope you found some value in it, and if you didn't, cool, I'll just go f*** myself then. Anyway, before we get out of here, we gotta do the feature of the week, and since this took so long, I'm gonna feature 2 photos from my Discord community. Once again, you can join the Discord in the link below. We do weekly features, there's a bunch of cool people there, blah 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 blah, you know what it is. The theme this week, of course, was a photo you developed yourself. And for this video, I am choosing Polaroid and Bros of Stalin. Great names, and interesting that both photos are in that square format. Unintentional, but I love the colors and I love the compositions. Great work. Alright guys, you know what to do. Get me on the socials. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I'm starting to use Twitter a little bit more. I still really don't quite like it though, but give me a follow there, why not? And I haven't talked about this in a while, but I'm on MySpace, so I don't know why I don't have an influx of friend requests on MySpace from you guys. Friend me now and I'll put you in the top 8. This is a rare opportunity. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you as always, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Your best Tina Belcher.
Yes!
Like and subscribe to Sweet Lou Photography. You're the man.